So, as you can, I've been looking for role models, models to base the next 1,000 years on. And so, I've entertained George Bush's idea of how things should go over the next 1,000 years. And there were a couple of things in that effort that I felt were left a bit to be desired, shall I say. So, anyway, so I went exploring, and I looked at the Sharia boys in the Middle East, and there's a lot of perversion going on there with that shit, that has nothing to do with the laws of Islam whatsoever. This is my crown, incidentally. I wear it on bad hair days. I don't have any of the gowns, the jewels, the trappings of state that most petty kings require, and their peoples need too. I mean, they do serve a function, but the thing is like, I didn't go to waving class, and I'm missing some things. You got a deficient king. Understand? Like, I'm gonna explain to you how this works. Like, I got stuff left out that you have. You got stuff I don't have. Like, God forgot about my hate gene. I don't have one. I tried to have one, and I think I might even I've had one once. It was kind of an immaterial thing. Anyway, it got turfed. But see, the thing is, I have an anger gene. I do. And there's a difference between the two. You see, where there's anger, there's still possibility. And where hate begins to take over is where I don't even want any possibility with this sucker anymore. I just want to fucking kill him. Now, I only felt that way about one person so far in this incarnation. And this individual stole my dog. And people stole other things from us, and furniture, all kinds of stuff. Money. But this individual stole my dog. His name was Norm Murray. And I called the police, and the first guy that answered the phone knew exactly who he was. He said, he stole your dog. Sold it. And this is some, telephone first. Hey, asshole, pick up the phone. Guy at the police station. And he said, you better watch out for him as well. He's a fairly big individual, and you don't want to piss him off. I said, okay. Anyway, so my wife calls me, and my wife at the time, Vampire, you may have heard of her. Anyway, she called me and said, this Norm Murray guy just called me, and he's calling the police on you. He said you threatened him, and so don't go there. And I said, he stole my dog. She said, don't go there, we can't afford this. And I said, I want my dog and my money back from the fuck today. Anyway, I didn't get my dog back. But it took me a long time to process my hatred for that individual. Nobody just comes up and fucking steals my dog, period. You understand? And I knew I had to forgive him, or I was stuck there spiritually. Didn't matter a fuck what he did at all. I had a conundrum. I mean, I was having fantasies, you know, I wanted to grab that fucker, shove a 357 Magnum down his throat past his now broken teeth, and explain to him that if I didn't tell me where my dog is, in 3 seconds, I was going to pull the fucking trigger. And if he didn't tell me where my dog was, I was going to pull the fucking trigger. These are the type of fantasies that are running through my head, you understand? And I knew, you know, like, I can't go no place with this shit. And he did steal my dog. I can't afford this stuff. I will die here. I knew this. Understand? It was a boulder I had to get through. And my dog gave her life to provide me with it. And this clown provided me with the curriculum to which to proceed. And so, what I'm finding is that at the other side of most hatreds, there's love. Or there's benefit. There's no extreme sensation that occurs for no reason, I found. Anyway, so, I don't do the hate thing real well. And I don't understand, you know, people think I don't give a shit. You know, like, I don't care. It's just that I don't understand what benefit you get from it. You know, it's like, I haven't got a lot of experience with it, but, you know, a few individuals have irritated me, you know, significantly, and but I have another curriculum that I've been practicing. It's called patience. You understand? And you know, it would not be my first choice of studying. You know, never high on my priority of things to master, and it kind of got left out. So you don't get to leave stuff out as king. Anything. Like, you need to understand, as king, you understand you don't know too much. But you know the difference between truth and bullshit most of the time. And you kind of may appear real slow about things. Like you haven't got a one way to rub against another, but you'll find that the kings that ensue from this seed worship the true for their own lives, for anything else. That's really all a king has time for. Like, so, you won't be seeing us in fancy drag, or, you know, having, living in a castle, or a palace, or, chauffeur-driven limousines, or any of that stuff. You know, I might get an old Ford diesel 3/4-ton truck sometime. Stanley. My job is to engineer a go-forward protocol that can last a good 1,000 years. The last 5,000 or 10,000 years has been, actually more than that, the last 100,000 years has been the process of discerning the fruit from the tree of evil. Just having some acquaintance with it. We have no real idea of the good as of yet at all. We're getting gleanings of it. But the good's where we're going. We need to finish up with the evil a little bit. We got a few loose ends to tie up with this stuff. But once that's done, rock and roll begin. And that's done. And my first job is to get that done. Understand? And so I don't spend much time trying to look pretty. I try to look any uglier than I am, and it's pretty hard to do. The thing is, I'm an old man, and I need to get a lot of stuff done before I retire, which is about another 19 years. So I'm going to be 80 when I get to retire. And there's some things that I can do from then until time I'm about 100. And so I don't have a lot of interest in farting around or massaging this person's penis or this person's vagina or, any type of the circle jerks that you've got going on now. I'm not really too interested in those, maintaining them or dissolving them. There are a few circle jerks that need re-engineering. For instance, the board of directors of every oil company on this planet needs to be repopulated. But these are things that will come in due course. Understand? Like the thing that I need to begin to do is build affinity, reality, and communication. So I need to tell you the truth about myself, and I've done that. I've written a few books, and they're available for free on my blog, on our blog online. But the thing is, I make a lot of mistakes. I do stupid shit. I'm a kid. And I need help. All of it you can offer. Understand? And I'm not going to pay you in fiat currency. I may never pay you at all. People who devote their services to our interests do it for other reasons than fiat currency. Anyway, but there's all kinds of opportunity for that available. So, I need help in every way that we exist. All I can promise you is I will never mislead you or guide you or lie to you as your king. If I'm playing cards with you on Monopoly, don't fucking trust me at all. But if I'm speaking to you as your king, whether I'm wearing this fucking crown or not, I'm having a bad hair day today. Understand? Like they always say, bad hair day. So we wear the crown, helps hide that bad hair, and gives us something to talk about. So, I need to love you. And that means have knowingness of you. And I have some now. And you're hiding much of yourselves from yourselves and as a consequence each other and so there's a lot of confusion going on in your minds about who you are and why you're here and where you're going. Some of you even forgot that that's a possibility, let alone purpose of your incarnate being. Anyway, my job as your king is to kind of have things work and to, as quickly and as expediently as possible, excise the parasites from you. And the parasite breeding constructs that you entertain right now. You know what? The first thing we need to do is, you have to know how you're constructed. You don't even know your anatomy, for God's sake. You don't know what affects you. You have a spirit, whether you like it or not. If you're watching this video, you're a spiritually committed individual, whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, whether you want to be or not, it doesn't make any difference. You are, period. That's how it is. You have a spirit. And some of your spirits are older than others. This is true. And some of your spirits are brighter than others. This is also true. Each of you needs to understand that there are things that you can do yourself today that will brighten your spirit. Yeah. The word enlightenment, if you look at it for longer than half a second, simply means to make less heavy. Now, you have spiritual integrity, as well as physical integrity, as well as mental integrity. If I try to feed my body gasoline, it's not going to perform very well. If I try to feed my car lemons, it's not going to perform too well. Okay? Even carrot juice, pure carrot juice isn't going to do well in my car. Peanut oil, if I'm driving a diesel truck, might work. Understand? But there's a big difference between peanut oil and carrots. Can I say this? So I need to be discerning. So a human being needs to exercise his wits. And to presume to be exercising your wits while you ignore a huge fundament of your being, your physiology, your spirit is in your toes, like your mind. Your mind's not in your head. It may be the nerve center for it, but your mind extends to your environment. My mind's in those color drawings, the heavy bag, and all the pictures in the wall, right? My mind's in the things that I'm interested in, my toes, my toenails, and my hair. So, the question of where your mind starts and mine stops, or vice versa, gets less defined, can we say that? The deeper into truth one evolves. You can't devolve yourself into truth. Like you cannot stupid your way into truth the way you can into the White House. It doesn't work here. Understand? Like, I've been telling you for years you're in a stupor. And you think this is the only guy that can't remember three things. If I'm elected, I'm going to butt-fuck the immigrants, I'm going to humble the foreigners, and the third thing I'm going to do is, you think it's just him. It's all of you are in this condition. All 100%. None of you can master the movement of your own mind for longer than 3 seconds, 7 seconds tops. All of you. You do not have dominion over the wanderings and the meanderings of your own mind right now. The hold yourself forth as an expert in anything is fucking ludicrous. Anyway, that's another part of my job as king, is to communicate sufficient that you get things clearly. There's no gray area. And we're leaving these tapes behind so that, you'll have some reference material that's not buggered by the imaginations of others. For instance, making Jesus God as a fucking embarrassment for him. Trust me. I know. I know very well. Now, Muhammad is not Jesus' enemy. And, in fact, Muhammad did Jesus' memory a huge favor. No, Jesus never said, "Pray to me." Not once, nor would he dare ever dream it. Let's see. I have knowingness of Jesus and intimate knowingness of Jesus and you missed the boat on that one, big time. And you missed it with an insistent ignorance that got putrid. It's like the current politicians today. Like, which fraud do you prefer, the Democratic one or the Republican one? The Whig or the Tory? Bullshit. There's no even theorized place where the horse shit ends anymore. Well, there is now. Admit. The horse shit's not going to serve you at all. It's not serving you now. You know, the other thing that breeds parasitic flowers every fucking time are interest-based economies. It's how Muhammad knew this. He had no idea about derivatives, he had no idea about any of that hardship, but he could say that, you know what? And he was a wealthy guy. He didn't start out that way, but he wound up a wealthy guy. And, he says, like, I know what I'm talking about. This is not, I'm wealthy, and I could get a lot wealthier with this shit, and so could my kids, but it's haram. It's not right. It fucks you up, and it does. All it does is allow you to participate in a different domain of diseases, for fuck's sake. Gout, arthritis, dementia, stupidity, fucking picking your noses and going over your stock portfolios all day long, every day. I mean, what the fuck are you thinking of? I mean, this is what you were born for? You're currently involved in a very, very elegant dance with worms, all dressed to the nines, with your worm partners beside you, caressing its ass. There's that. Oh yeah, priests, popes, fucking pimps, princes, potentates, and prostitutes. Oh yeah. Buggering life and hoping you don't get caught. Hoping nobody finds out. So you understand, like, there's not much altitude that you can glean in that paradigm. You understand? It's a very limiting thing. It's worse than prison. And I've been in prison, and this you got is worse. Now, I want to get a lot of men out of prison right away. That's another thing I want to do. Especially in the United States, at least 1 million. Off the hop. Poof. Gone. And I want to have a conversation with those men before they go. Before they're released. And the next 1 million, I don't think there shouldn't be more than, like, in a country of 300 million people, there shouldn't be more than 300 fucking people in jail, for fuck's sake. What the fuck is this? It's a merry-go-round of perversion you got orchestrated for yourselves. It's got to go as well. Think of this. Like, stop just for a minute and ask yourself this question. I have to buy law for myself in my country. The laws for sale cost somewhere between $105 and $1,000 an hour, depending on how much law you need to buy. Understand? And so I have these paid lawyers that pay themselves extraordinary amounts of money to lie well and have their lies hold water. Now, this would be okay if we were playing cards or Monopoly. I'm a thief and a cheat when I play that shit. I do not cheat at cards, though. I do not never have cheated cards. Or Monopoly either. I just don't let you know my strategies. So, let's say this. Let's say the idea of cheating and fraud is not foreign to us. But it's something we gave up for Lent one year and decided not to take up again. Let's just leave it at that for the time being. The thing is, after you give up fraud for a while, like you have to labor to do it. Let me tell you, particularly when you been a huge consumer. I wasn't just a fucking president. I was a customer. Fraud Incorporated. Understand? So, but after I turned about 14 years old or so, I said, it's got to go, and so I did. I thought that was just part of growing up. Everybody else had the same experience. It never occurred to me that virtually the rest of the planet would worship this shit. I thought I discovered it, found out that I hadn't, and got disabused of the fruits of it right away. So, but I've been tempted through the years to participate in it, and I did mislead a lender once in a realty transaction to my benefit and his majority interest. I haven't paid that off yet, and that man is likely dead now. So I still owe those funds to some charity or whatever. It's a debt I have. Anyway, so, and he was a very generous spirited being. It's a very, very solid debt. I owe this. And if he or his heirs are not alive, or there's no realistic way of paying that back, I'm required to give equal benefit and bonus to someone else. It's not mine. I do not want anything that is not mine anywhere near me. Nothing stolen, nothing fraudulently clean at all. I can't afford it. Neither can you, but you don't understand this yet. So, the thing is, as your king, my interest is in you winning. All of you. I don't care whether you're Samoan, Portuguese, whether you're rich, poor, demented, brilliant, sane, insane, tall, short, fat, skinny, a hobo, or a prince. Understand? I win after you do. Your win is my crown, my glory. I have no other. Understand? So, rest assured that I'll never lie to you as king, but I will lie to you playing poker or Monopoly. Misinform every way I can. But not as your king. Nor as your lover or a friend. Either. Just don't play cards with me. Or Monopoly. And while relationship. Anyway, so, but it may look to some of you like I'm out to get you. You know, like Georgie Bush, you know, and Dick Cheney are now getting almost sort of ripe. They're ready to flip them over. Understand? Like they got, what am I going to do? It's called impending doom. And they're suffering right now. And I know about impending doom as well. Understand? I do. And it looked good on me, and it looks very good on them as well. I had no business with it, neither did they. Anyway, they got it right now, and I don't. You know, and it says, you know, like, you will have no one there to give a shit, basically. The Bible, it says this. It doesn't say give a shit. Basically, that's what it says. You know, when you see yourself, there won't be anyone to bluff or kid. Understand? And let me know getting around it. It's like I can't get around stuff. I gotta go through the middle of it, so do you. So whatever I stole, I gotta give back. And ask for forgiveness for stealing it to start with. In the case of SI beat me today, that's how much she's. It's almost 2 years of her life she's been in prison to satisfy the perversions of some demented clerics who think that the purpose of God is to grease up their hard-ons so they can have a good come at the expense of little girls, women, the weak. By virtue of this conduct, they defame Islam, Muhammad, and Allah. It's repugnant, and they're too busy molesting each other to stop long enough to see the truth of this. This concerns me every bit as much as George Bush and his daddy bugger fucking people with nuclear warheads. I don't care what you're bugger fucking my people with. Stop it. Period. Doesn't work. I don't care who you're buggering, or how much right you think you got to do it, or what history says about your right to do it or not. Jews have got to learn how to get along with some fucking people. It's all time. I don't even want to begin to go there right now. You know, Holocaust survivors putting a fucking concrete and barbed wire wall around themselves, caging their fucking Palestinians in. Why is it nobody wants to live next to you? Oh my. What is this? Is it always them that's the fault? Yeah, you were not supposed to give your sons and daughters in marriage to other than Jewish individuals. But Jewish individuals are any individual who worships Allah. That's a Jew. That's a Muslim. That's a Christian. You know, took a now demented view of things and excluded all other DNA from your gene pool, for fuck's sake. That's not smart. It provides ripe soil for dementia. You were supposed to use your fucking wits. There you go, the goddamn slide rules measuring scripture. You've been doing it for fucking centuries. Richard Dinkins is the most famous one doing it today. Like, you know. Oh, Carl Sagan's up there too. Yeah, Carl Richard, both booksellers. I do it for a living. do science, like jurists do law, like doctors practice medicine, like accountants practice accounting. It all depends. I love it. In the States, universities are now selecting students that can actually pay their tuition in preference to the academically brilliant. If you got money to pay for your doctorate, a lot higher chances. I understand. I can't believe this is really an application, but I understand this is a theory. It's being postulated by some Luddites. Not too dissimilar to those who, a few hundred years ago, sitting around Great Britain smokehouses theorizing whether women were, in fact, possessed of an immortal soul, or whether they were more like bovines in a dress. Horking into the spittoon, sucking on their cigars, and looking erudite. That's a circle jerk. Men who get together and feel up each other's net worth subtly. That's that. The problem with lying. I'm going to give you a bit more of an anatomy class here. The problem with lying is it dwarfs your intuition. And stealing really fucks with it. Okay? So, people who lie and steal will have uninspiring sex lives, uninspiring emotional and intellectual lives. And right now on planet Earth, pretty much everything that's occurring in human cognition is uninspiring. Everyone's got a shtick that they're trying to milk. Everyone. You got street corner prophets doing it to supplement their ODSP payments. Understand? You got nurses, and you got nuns and doctors and priests stealing newborn infants from mothers and telling them their baby was dead. They had some dead kid corpse in a freezer that popped the whatever mother doubted their word. But this was going on during our tenure, and when I'd chosen to hide and not concern myself with all this stuff because there were things that were not in place, and I wasn't. I knew I was insufficient to the job myself, and I didn't really have a clue at that time how deep the twistedness and the perversion of my fellows had grown, or the stunnedness that was reigning between their ears. I thought there was something wrong with me. Understand? There was something I wasn't seeing. It's been this way since I've been 4 or 5 years old. I remember being a young boy and people saying, you don't run things around here. And saying, oh, so the whole world's wrong and you're right. I said, they got a point. They got a point. How? I'm 14 years old. What the fuck do I know? Understand? So, but I knew that I didn't know nothing, but I knew the clowns that were trying to teach me shit knew less than me. So I wasn't likely to find much gold at home. So, 15 years old, it's time to go check out its look, see what the deal was. School was not satisfying at all. Neither was billiards. Like I spent my entire early teenage years, basically trying to get fucked and wasting time in school and hanging around pool. I thought, Like I knew that no matter how many gold stars I got for memorizing or declining Latin verbs, you know, it wasn't going to get me the kind of gold star I wanted. I didn't know what kind of gold star I wanted, but I just knew I wasn't going to find it here. And also God decided to talk to me. You know, I remember sitting at St. Michael's College School, my blue blazer and my tie, gray flannel pants, and God said, "Hey, I want to work with you." I said, "Fuck you. I'm not playing your game. These guys do not smile. I don't want any fucking thing to do with that shit. I want women. You got no broads in your deal. Fuck off. Don't talk to me." Oh, this is after I told him to go fuck himself when I was about 12. Got my bicycle. He hadn't performed some service for me that, in my view, he owed me. So, pedaled my bicycle through the park, or paved path through the park. I dropped my bicycle. Breathed my fist to heaven and said, "Fuck you, God." That's 12, and so 14, I'm saying, you know what, not your deal. I don't care what you're offering. I don't want none of it, period. Don't get any of it on me. I was being taught by brothers and priests at the time, and I saw no fruit in any of their lives. I saw suffering, and I saw discipline and restraint, and I didn't know you could jerk off to that type of thing at the time. And I just couldn't understand why they were so insistent on that stuff. It didn't look like it was doing them any good. Anyway, so I didn't think too much, you know, I had, issues with God, let's say this, by the time I was 15 years old. And I was gonna do things the smart way, like these idiots who were trying to teach me shit. Didn't want to be doing their job to start with, and didn't mind letting me know this. And so I thought, well, if they don't want to be here, why the fuck should I, right? And so I didn't be there. I left school and home when I was 15, for the first time. And I found that, so I went to northern BC, and I found that, it wasn't much different there. People were just stupid there as they were in my home. And so I went back to my girlfriend in my home and tried to figure out what's going to do. And, I was in grade 10 by now, and perhaps for the second time, I'm not sure. Anyway, first time in grade 10. Anyway, so I spent 10 or 15 days in September at school. School in the pool hall. Anyway, about at least 5 or 7 days, in school. And I'm going back and forth, pretending I'm in school when I'm at the pool hall. And I knew, I got to do something. I didn't know what. I tried BC and nothing happened. I said, you know what? I'd try New York for a few days and then go to the Caribbean. So I took my worldly wealth, which is about $35, and maybe tops $100, and bought an airplane ticket to Buffalo. I told the nice people at customs that my parents bought me an airplane ticket for my birthday. I gave me an airplane ride. And so you had both U.S. Canadian Customs blocked that. I got out of the Buffalo airport and took my suitcase. I don't know why everything. Anyway, took my suitcase and found the expressway to Manhattan, to New York, and stuck my thumb out. Got a ride with a trucker from a trucker who dropped me in New Jersey, but said you can get in there. You take that train, get off 34th Street downtown Manhattan. That's where it is. That's what I did. What I didn't realize is that I had an invitation to come away and be with somebody. And I was following up on that invitation. I didn't know why. I was going to hear him just say, I'm going to go see this individual. That I knew I had to go to New York City. I did. Now I was only going to stay, 3 or 4 days, see what it's like, and then leave. And I wound up staying about a year and a half. But I did get the teaching that I needed. I did. I wasn't really happy about it. I was kind of honored and thrilled a bit, but, I could see it was going to be, a lot of work. And, I still had the idea at that time that, play was more my thing than work. And, but I knew there was likely going to be no way around this one. But for now, it wasn't, I didn't have to do that job right now. So basically, I was a learner. I was a prince. And learning. And I can remember, going, well, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, what the fuck is this for? I remember, this shit, goddamn, how to do katas and how to focus my attention and how to be still and how to think and what is compassion and what is forgiveness. You're presented with these questions that I was required to solve thoroughly. And there was no exam papers. There was no regimented formality to my education at all. So basically, I'm a grade 10 dropout. I'm a king. So I'm deficient. I got stuff missing from my DNA. I'm not all that smart, and I'm a high school dropout, and I'm a king. And I got no money to speak of, or no fancy gowns, and no jewels that I wear on my body, and no, I don't even have gold necklaces or nothing. I don't have an army. I don't even own a horse. I have a criminal record, and not that I hang out with undesirables as well. Musicians and poets and intellectuals and thieves and prostitutes and dope people and all kinds of ne'er-do-wells. And I also hang out with people in country clubs. I have to admit it, I don't like to, but I do. I've hung with people, who have a lot of wealth and drive fancy cars and have all kinds of net worth. And And, you know, some of them, I'm proud to know, some of them did it with nobility. Like, they did not lie. And they provided good value for everyone. Frank Stromick, one of them. And he was up front. If you're buying shares in his company, you're basically buying shares in him. And his prowess as decision maker for the company. A lot of people, investors, employees, stakeholders, and governments, everybody did very well as a consequence of his contribution. Understand? And he was crazy. You know, like, I met one of the presidents of his subsidiary companies. He said, you know what, Frank's the only boss in this world that I know of that would take a decision and a promise that I made to my 100 employees, how many ever there were, to never lay them off, no matter what. And through a year and a bit, Frank made it possible for me to keep my word to my people. So Frank paid his employees while a strike was affecting the auto industry. I'm not sure how long it was. It was a long, long, long time. And they got a paycheck. And they're sitting at home. And that kind of thing builds loyalty, you see. That kind of thing has integrity in it. But it doesn't make good business sense to a numbers cruncher. But numbers crunchers don't run this universe. Number crunchers don't make the final decisions on anything. Who makes the final decision is you and me. We are responsible. I am, for sure. Not just for what I do in this lifetime, but for what I do all the time, anytime. Doesn't matter how old I am either. There's none of this, oh no, life does not start until you're 16, or 18, or 21, or until you can vote. Let me tell you something. Life is conceived before you are. You are a participant in it, and you have an opportunity to take joy and delight out of the experience, or to try and steal your life. You can't have both. Like, I could not have spiritual growth and hate Norm Murray at the same time. I knew this. It's just how the laws of the universe are set up. And so I had to choose. And fortunately, I chose to forgive Mr. Murray. It took me about 300 hours of strong meditation. And 3 years to do it. At least a year and a half to do it. Now, nobody's ever stolen my dog ever again. And if I'm lucky enough to have another dog someday, and you steal it, you better thank God that he exists. breathing today, he should say a thankful prayer that he has a king who's educated for his job, and who never forgets his position and his place, no matter how pissed off he is. You can't afford it. And the food I put in my mouth is not contingent on anything you offer me at all. And someday you're going to wind up paying me $128 a year to do this job. And you also need to remember something else. I'm going to be the highest paid fucker that works for me. So, I'm not going to lie to you. This is not a better fraud. This is no fraud, no theft, no lies, period. And lots of truth, worship, the discovery of the truth and its fruit. We're going to find good stuff here, I promise. So, some of the kind of stuff